What's going on, guys? It's bluetea-TCG back with another Vanguard video. Let's talk about the ban list. My first impression of the ban list, disgraceful. This is kind of unacceptable. I'm talking about premium for the most part, but I guess the other two formats were fine. But for premium, that's not how you do it. That's not how you do it. It's really disappointing. But anyway, let's kind of go over these before we talk about my thoughts about it in detail. So first up, we've got, as you see here, we've got standard restrictions. We've got a restriction to one for Darkstrain Dragon. Darkstrain Dragon reads: if you have 3 or more grade 3 units, you Soul Blast 2, and all of your grade 3 units get boost until end of turn. So I guess this was being used in a very unfun way, and according to what I've heard, this restriction was deserved. I'm not really too familiar with standard, the current meta of standard, so I'm just going to go with what people are saying, and that this restriction is fine enough. It slightly differs, I think, from what Japan got, but regardless, I guess as long as as long as it accomplishes what they were trying to go for, it's probably fine. And then the next restriction is a choice restriction for Stoicheia. This is on Sylvan Horned Beast Emperor, Magnolia Elder, as well as Blue Artillery Dragon, Inlet Pulse Dragon. So apparently these two cards were being used for a very efficient draw engine in Standard that was very hard to combat, it was very hard to contest, and it was part of what made Magnolia like one of the best decks in Standard. So this hit is to kind of rein that in and hopefully give Magnolia players slightly more interesting game plan that is a little easier to contest for other decks. According to what people have said, this is still gonna make Magnolia is still gonna be like pretty playable in this format, but it's just not gonna be such an overwhelmingly strong deck that outpaces other decks in terms of card economy. So I guess that's another good choice restriction there. But again, I'm not too familiar with Standard myself, so I'm just kind of going off of what other people are saying there. And then as for V Premium, this one's an interesting one. So we got a restriction finally on Prism Image Rosa. This is supposed to be a pretty significant hit to Bermuda as a whole. Bermuda's been storming, terrorizing V Premium for quite a while now. Just about 2 years we're approaching. So this hit to Rosa, to the Prism strategy, and to Bermuda as a whole in V Premium should do a lot to kind of whittle down the number of tops that Bermuda is going to get going into the next season. But I will say, Bermuda's still got plenty of good cards that they could run. So I don't think Bermuda is going to be completely wiped off the planet by this hit, but it is a pretty good hit and is going to do a good job of slowing them down in terms of being a strong deck for such a while now. Now I will say, the lack of a hit to Gold Paladin, specifically Gurgwit, is a little concerning, and it's probably going to be the best deck after the Clan Collection, the pair of new Clan Collection sets released in August. So a little concerning there that they missed the mark on that, but it shouldn't be too big of a deal for now, I suppose. It's just that they probably missed an opportunity to hit it again. I'm wondering if we'll get another emergency ban list coming soon, maybe to address that if necessary. And similarly for Luard Shadow Paladin, that deck's going to be pretty strong once Ildana comes out in the clan collections as well. So a lack of another hit to it. Of course, it's understandable that they didn't hit it. It's not like super necessary to hit compared to like the Gurgwit stuff, where they can just steamroll you with Excel markers by the first time they get to grade 3, and from there it just becomes very uphill battle for the opponent. That would probably deserve more of a hit for the current time, but as far as I see it, they're not doing preemptive hits, which I'm actually a huge fan of. I'm pretty much I'm pretty much against preemptive hits, so I think it's fine that they're not hitting Gurgurt currently. But again, if it's to be one of the strongest decks coming up in Clan Collection Volume 5, 6, it's perhaps going to be a scary thing that they didn't decide to hit it here. Regardless, though, overall not too bad for Standard and Premium. Standard definitely seems pretty solid. V Premium, again, they hit the right thing apparently. So I guess that's good news for those of you that play V Premium a lot. And now let's go ahead and check out the abomination itself, the premium restrictions. Man, I don't know how else to say this. What does this even do? Like, what were they trying to accomplish here? Is this supposed to be a hit to Nightmare Doll? or a hit to Pale Moon Good Stuff Hari. Because to me, this looks like a hit to Pale Moon Good Stuff Hari. And they thought they were hitting Nightmare Doll. If they actually thought they were hitting Nightmare Doll, man, they were just they could just completely miss the point of what makes Nightmare Doll good. I'm not sure if they missed it on purpose, like I want to give them benefit of the doubt. Like maybe they just, you know, wanted to give it like this is not even a slap on the wrist. This is literally just we don't even know what to hit, but we know what we think we're trying to hit. And this was the result. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So choice restriction here we've got on Pale Moon between Masquerade Master Hari and Nightmare Doll Alice. So part of what makes this a completely useless hit is that Nightmare Dolls, like, supposedly the deck that was supposed to be the target of this restriction, doesn't even go into Masquerade Master Hari most of the time. Usually when they went into the stride, it was either because they needed an out to locked circles, which is specifically for one match of Link Joker, or they just happened to want to protect their rear guards because, Master Hari is Maja and allows the multiple rear guards to get put back into the soul at the end of the turn. So I guess if you wanted to protect like a Leslie that you didn't want to leave on the board or an Alice or something, then you'd go into this. But most of the time, Nightmare Doll was going into Dark Lord Princess into Yvette. They were never touching this card except for maybe flip fodder or maybe the new situations that I described earlier. Like this does nothing. They still run Nightmare Doll Alice, obviously, and now that they can't run both, they just replace Masquerade Master Hari with another junk stride that they don't even need. They'll just use another stride as flip fodder. Leontine is available for them to do that with. I saw in Derek Dow's video, check out his channel, guys, if you're interested for a lot of in-depth and very high-level Nightmare Doll strategies. He's running Millward, I saw on his list, Millward and Dragon Masquerade Hari. So, Nightmare Doll players will just find other options to use this flip fodder. This does absolutely nothing. I'm not sure what they were thinking here, but alas, you know, that's not even the worst of it, to be honest, because now we look at the next restriction. This restriction looks good, and yes, it is good because it kills Order Colony, basically, the restriction to 1 for Ruination Dragon. Yes, it does do well to kill Order Colony, but recall that Order Colony was actually one of Nightmare Doll's worst matchups. This was the matchup where Nightmare Doll actually had like the largest challenge, and even so, Nightmare Doll kind of still had an opportunity to win. It wasn't like an auto win for Order Colony by any means. Nightmare Doll was still able to, contest and play around all of the Ghidorah restrictions as long as that Nightmare Doll player just knows what they need to do. So it wasn't an auto win by any means. And now that Order Colony is kind of dead, but from this hit, Nightmare Doll just got an insane boost. They're going way up, guys. They're going through the roof. They're going to be probably the top deck going into the BRO BCS season. So, um, you know, the combination of these two hits is just puzzling. Like, I don't know what they were trying to accomplish. Like, of course, it's clear that they were trying to hit two certain decks, those being Order Colony and Nightmare Doll. But really, all they did was boost Nightmare Doll, and then they killed off Order Colony, obviously, which, fine, that's deserved. I think a lot of Mega Colony players actually were very averse to the idea of Order Colony because it is indeed a very simple deck. It's a very effective strategy, especially last meta. And it's pretty interesting to see how the popularity of Order Colony just rose throughout the BSF season. So, definitely a good hit there. And the fact that they're restricting it to 1 rather than making a choice restriction, I think is actually pretty solid, just based on the fact that if you wanted to, or not based on that fact, I shouldn't say it like that. Basically, the fact that they restricted it to 1 shows that they really knew what made Order Colony good, which was the persona rights. So instead of like outright banning it, they're restricting it to 1. I guess if you wanted to use it for some reason with the book order to draw 3, get +10 for 1 time only, then you still could do that. But they didn't outright ban it. They didn't do any choice restriction shenanigans. They just restricted it to 1, keep it plain and simple. And that shows that they really knew what was the problem, which was the persona ride plus 20k, draw a card, and then draw 3 more cards from the order. The plus 10k, draw a card, and then draw 3 more cards plus another 10k to front row from order. And then you have the Ghidorah on top of that. That was going to be insane going into this format, especially with that new stride that they got in Peak Clan Collection 2022. So solid hit, I suppose, but Again, this is definitely underwhelming, a little disappointing. I was definitely looking for them, for me personally, for them to hit, okay, one over triggers. I feel like everyone said that at this point, so I'm not gonna elaborate further on that. But I was actually looking forward to them unhitting some stuff because I feel like a lot of cards that are still on the list right now, such as Dorian at one, like what are they scared of? Silverthorn drawing four cards at the end of the turn to still die to one Denial Griffin or basically any means of guard restrict. Like no Pale deck is going to be breaking Dorian anytime soon to do things that are create any crazier than what the top decks are already doing. So I feel like Dorian, there was an opportunity there to unhit it to four copies, finally. And a couple of other cards. I was looking forward to Refros potentially coming off the restriction to one, but maybe that was just a pipe dream. That obviously didn't happen. And there are other cards that probably could come off. Of course, I don't have the full context on why those cards were, put on the restriction list in the first place. But as far as I understand, they're not going to do too much meta damage right now if they're going to be unhit. So it would have been cool for them to experiment with that, but clearly they're just trying to keep it simple, slow for now, not trying to shake things up as much as they did in October to bring us to where we are right now. But again, I do feel like these hits were just underwhelming. They completely missed the mark, at least for premium. Now, of course, the standard V premium hits were reasonable enough, I suppose, but this is dissatisfactory. Now, I will say one of the winners in this restriction list is Angel Feather. Of course, I'm saying this with zero bias whatsoever. But Angel Feather, all the attention is being pulled away from it. So, thankfully, this means that we can probably enter this meta, enter the battlefield unscathed, and people will just kind of not know what hit them. But that's more so of a half joke there. But I'm sure you guys can experiment more with Angel Feathers, see what you guys can do with it. I do think it is a solid pick still, based on all these hits now. Unfortunately, it does have a rough matchup against Nightmare Doll, but that's as it goes. I mean, Nightmare Doll is just a really strong deck, and this does absolutely nothing to rein it in. So, thank you very much, guys. Nightmare Doll is probably going to be the best deck going into this BRO, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see several of Nightmare Doll in top eights and such. So, oof. But yeah, that's going to do it, guys. I don't want to keep this video too long. Thanks very much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, of course, you know what to do. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more Vanguard videos as well as Yu-Gi-Oh! Hearthstone. I play those from time to time. I upload from time to time. Feel free to check those out when they come. But with that, thanks for watching. I hope to see you next time.